Good morning. You guys got lots of me today. Yay for you. Okay, so we are in a series called We Are Family. And I love this series. I'm really excited about this series. I have been for a while. When we planned this series, it was a time that we had our staff summit. It's a time we kind of took away or went away to just focus on and plan some of the bigger things. And the heart behind this series is to take church from the Bible and to do it and to apply it. The church is not just what we do here every Sunday, but there's so much more to being that. And that's what the heart of this is. So the idea with this series is to take one of the many analogies that we see in the Bible for the church and explore it and expand it and then kind of check ourselves, kind of see what it's like. So you see that the church is referred to as the bride of Christ or as the body of Christ or the family. So the one we chose is family. And what we're doing is taking this description and the description of the church, the analogy that it gives, and then applying it to us. So first disclaimer I want to give real quick is the idea is to see our church behave like a family. This analogy mildly breaks down in the sense that our families are made up of us and we're all broken. So maybe your family is also in the focus with this sermon, this message, this series. So the idea is to compare the church to the ideal family that God intended it to be. So with that being said, we're going to jump in and in a sense evaluate ourselves. So I absolutely love preaching. I love talking as a whole. Ask anybody. Talk a lot. But with that, what I love talking about is simple concepts. There's so many things that there's lots of complicated things in the Bible that you can read books and books on and try to understand this aspect or this, but there are also so many things that are beyond simple. The Bible says, here it is, do that. Okay, cool, I'm gonna do that. That's it. Like, there's no unpacking. There's no, I don't get this. Like, it's pretty clear. So something that I love to do, and I love to do with the students, is to take truths that are like, hey, this says to love your neighbor. So what we should do is love our neighbor. All right, cool. You guys got it? Let's try that. So this is right here. But what I love about this in particular is it's almost like an evaluation. So I'm going to go ahead and let you know, forewarn you. I don't have 3 points to the sermon. I'm breaking all the Baptist rules. My point, they don't start with the same letter. They don't rhyme or anything like that. I'm going to take a chunk of scripture. I'm going to read it and see what it says. Then I'm going to ask if you're doing it. I'm going to get some gut check questions. They're kind of like, this is what it says. Where are we? This is Evaluation Sunday for you as an individual believer and for us as a church. And I'm included, so know that as well. But the first thing, though, before we can even jump into that, and this is a genuine question. It's not a rhetorical question or a silly question. And the first thing you need to determine is, do you believe the Word of God? And I say that's a genuine question because I'm not going to assume that all of you guys do, and if you don't, that's okay. If we're doing church and nobody in here is seeking this new truth, we're doing something wrong. The idea of the church is to reach people around us. So if you're not completely sure that you're down with what the Word of God says, or that you want to be a part of this church, first of all, welcome. So glad that you are here, like for real. I'm glad you're here more than anybody else. So glad that you're here, but we need to know that going in. You need to have that mindset to know, and there's a role to play for you. You're going to see that. But those of you who do claim, I believe the Bible, we got to claim all of it. And we get to pick and choose. It's the Word of God, not like the separate chunks of God. It's the Bible, the whole thing. So if you believe it, that means that what it says, we've got to apply. We don't get to change it up and then apply some of it or just do parts of it. But the points that it says clearly, it's our job to do those things. So settling on to that, we're going to jump into our passage. Before I do that, I'm going to pray real quick, and then we're going to explore the book of Acts. So God, I thank you so much for this morning. God, I thank you for this body of believers, these people that are here, that are my family, that are doing this journey with me. God, being a believer is not always an easy journey. God, you promise us challenges. You promise us difficulties. You promise to change us. God, you love us enough to take us the way we are, but you love us too much to not let us change. God, you want us to change and grow. Help us to do that right now. God, I pray for conviction that as we read this word, God, as I read it myself and everybody in here sees this truth, that we see it as encouragement, as change, as a push to grow and be something new, be something different. Help us to do that today. Amen. So I'm going to read the whole passage for this series as a whole, and then I'm going to go back and read the verses we're focusing on today. So this is Acts 2, verses 41 through 47. Those who believed what Peter said were baptized and added to the church that day, about 3,000 in all. All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship and to the sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. All the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all people. And each day the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. I read the whole thing and didn't mess up once. It's a proud moment right now. I hate reading out loud. So here we go. That's the whole passage. That's the description we see of the early church. So church begins, the church starts up, and that's what they're doing. Verses 44 and 45 is what we're looking at in particular today, and that's what it says. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is paint a picture, as if I doesn't paint one for you already, but I'm going to help paint this picture for what church looked like when it began. And then, like I said, we're going to see how well we're doing. We're going to see what that looks like for us. So you have Jesus walking around teaching people, anyone who's willing to listen, really. But he's got a few that are select around him. They're like, I'm going to invest particularly in these guys, the disciples. There's 12 of them. They're following him around. They're learning with him for years. Jesus moves on. He said, I'm going to prepare a place. Your job is to take what I've taught you and teach the rest of the world. I invested in you in particular, so take these words, take these truths, and go to Jerusalem and Judea and to the ends of the earth. So go in your town and then your country and then the world. Just go share it. That's your job. A couple months after Jesus leaves, Peter begins, and he's like, all right, let's do it. So he stands up and begins teaching. At the time, there are believers, but there's not so much a church. This is kind of a new thing for them to say, well, let's come together and do this as a group. So he stands up and begins preaching this truth that he knows with the disciples that are around him, a few believers that have gathered into their group already, and 3,000 are added, so they become the church. We have Peter teaching, surrounded by at least 3,000 were added. I don't know how many, between 3,000 and 1 million, something like that. Somewhere in there, I promise this is the range. So at least 3,000 are here. They're present. They hear this truth that Peter proclaims, and things change. If the story was Peter stood up and he proclaimed this truth and then they all went back to work and lived in their homes and things were normal, I probably wouldn't be reading about it a few thousand years later. It wouldn't have made it into the Bible. But this is an important thing. So he begins teaching what he was taught, and things change significantly. Things get shaken up and they start to do things differently. They met together. Raise your hand if you're here. That's all of you, by the way. You're here? Everybody's here? Okay, cool. Check. First part's done. So we're here. We met together. We're doing good so far. It's going to get a little tougher, but we're doing good. They met together. Step one. Shared everything they had. Getting a little tougher. So something that you'll notice about humans if you ever met one of those, we're screwed up and are naturally selfish. You guys with me? So you don't see on Facebook the mom sharing pictures oh, my little boy learned how to snatch things today. I'm so proud. No, he didn't learn that. That was natural. He came out of the womb doing that stuff. Oh, his first word was no, and I love it. He tells me to shut up. You don't teach those things. They happen because we're broken. We start off broken. There's the volunteer service. I called it a meme. I think is it still a meme if it's not funny? This was encouraging. The picture with some words written on it, okay? I think it's a meme that I saw online. I see it quite often, and it drives me nuts. I get what the meme is getting at, but it's just wrong. So it's two kids. They're 7 or 8 years old. They've seen a couple different variations. And about two little boys or two little girls or a boy and a girl, whatever. And one of them is white, one of them is black, and they're holding hands or they're hugging. And the caption's always love is natural, hate is taught. No. That's not it at all. That's not the case. We might teach what to hate or encourage how to hate. You do not learn how to hate because you don't understand it. You don't learn to be selfish. Naturally, I come out, I'm looking out for me. And that's mostly what the world encourages. So we might encourage somebody to hate one color, to hate even as simple as one sports team or whatever it is. But naturally we do that because we're selfish. I'm looking out for me. I like what's like me. I like what's similar to me. I don't like things that are different from me. Naturally, that's our mindset. That's not any different for these 3,000 that came up in the church here that just joined. They're just as selfish and broken humans as we are, but they come in and things start to be different because of the truth that was being proclaimed. So they begin doing things differently. They begin sharing everything they had. Everything is a strong word. I don't like definitive words. Like, it's not they shared some things or they shared occasionally. They shared everything they had. Let's just start with that one. I'm a believer. Come into the church. I don't mind sharing. I share a lot of things. But they shared everything. So that they come on the scene and they're like, wow, this is incredible. I'm so down with the truth you're speaking and you're teaching. I'm ready to live it out now. I'm ready to share. Let's look at some other passages, other places that we see this. This is one of my favorite passages that I discovered not too long ago, but I've just gotten really passionate about these last couple months. And it's 1 John 3, 16 and 17. It says this: "We know what real love is because Jesus gave up his life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. If someone has enough money to live well and sees a brother or sister in need but shows no compassion, how can God's love be in that person?" That's a tough verse to read. So, let me clarify another misconception. How many of you guys have ever heard, this is going to be all of you probably, the phrase or someone say, "Only God can judge me"? You guys heard that one? Probably the most misunderstood concept ever taken from the Word of God because they butcher that idea. So let me adjust it a little bit. Yes, only God can judge you in the sense that he's the one that holds the gavel and he decides your punishment. He gets the final say-so. But the rest of your fellow believers, we're the jury. My job is to judge you. Your job is to judge me. What people get confused with in that phrase, they think judge, and it's such a negative word. Judge means like to bash you or to hate you or to speak poorly of you. No, just simply judge. Like gymnastics, you guys watch the Olympics right now? Yeah, we killing it in the gymnastics, right? Anyways, to judge is to look at the performance and to check it out, to compare it, to see what's good and what's bad about it. As a believer, I'm specifically called to look at my brothers and sisters, which means those who are believers along with me. So we clarified in the beginning, if you claim to believe this Bible like I do, my job is to look at you, look at me, look at everybody around me and go, hey, look, this is what the Bible says. I don't really think you're doing it. Let's try to do it better. Specifically, I'm called to call you out of your sin gently and to be careful not to fall into it myself. So I don't get to be a jerk and like, dude, you suck at church. That's not how that works. But to gently say, hey, man, I think you're kind of missing the mark here. I think this is off some. We could do better here. And I'm included. I could do better as well. That's what we're called to do, is to do exactly that. But, again, I don't make the final call. So I've got a point here. The last part of that verse is phrased as a question for a reason. So if you see somebody in need, another translation says, if you see a brother and sister in need and you have the means to help them and you do not. So if you have compassion on them, if you do not, how can the love of Christ be in that person? So what I can't do is say, hey man, your neighbor needs his grass cut and you didn't cut it, you don't love Jesus. That I can't do. What I can do is say, your neighbor has a need and you're not doing it, do you love Jesus? And you get to answer that. So you're going to be the judge and you take this for yourself. I have no idea what your intentions are, because at the same time, you could be the most servant-hearted person out there and not love Jesus. It's another scary passage. The Bible says you can prophesy in my name and cast out demons, and I never knew you. Look that one up. That's scary. I don't get to know what your heart is, but I do get to evaluate it, and you get to do the same for me, and I ask you to. That's what we're supposed to do as a church. So we see the early church. So again, it's still painting this picture of what's going on, that they show up. They hear this truth and immediately begin acting completely against their nature because their nature just changed. They were just given new hearts. They just became new creations, new people, behaving in a new way by sharing everything they had. The first one was just sharing, but then it goes on. They don't just share. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. So not only am I willing to let you use the things I have, if by chance I don't have what you need, I'm going to sell my house so I can get it for you. Yeah, that's real. That's crazy to think about. So here's the scene. I got to give my dad props on this one. This is where I got this analogy from. He might have stolen it from somebody else too, but as far as I know, it came from him. So imagine we got a church of 100. He uses this for my siblings because we're perfect and awesome and always got along forever. It was something kind of like that. So we had this scenario. We're going to say there's 100 of us, and we're all believers. 100 in the church. BridgePoint Church, woo, yay, 100 of us, and I'm involved. I'm going to come in here, and I'm really going to worry about me. I'm going to make sure I got a good job and I make good money because I want to buy nice things. I'm going to buy my own set of tools because I want to fix my own stuff, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to live in my own house the way I want it to look. You do your own thing, but I'm worried about me. If I have some extra, I'll share a little bit. I'll look out for you occasionally, but really, I'm just going to make sure I'm good. I got my back. So on Team BridgePoint, there's 100 of us, but on Team David, there's one. It's me. And I'm making sure that I'm good. And over here, we got the next person. We have Eric, Pastor Team Eric. He's looking out for him, making sure he's good. He doesn't, other people help out if I can, but really it's me. That's what I'm focusing on. And then we got Russell. This doesn't really count because you guys know he's going to Kenya, so that's kind of cheating. But pretend he's not. So Russell, worry about him. He's staying right here. I got my own house. I got my own stuff, my own toys, my own tools, my own abilities. This is my time. I wake up, I work hard every day so I can get up and I can do whatever I want with my time and my money. You guys heard that? Sounds like a human. So here we are. As of right now, there's one person on each team. And that's great. That's awesome. Have at it. See how life goes. Another analogy. I'm here in this circle of 100. So there's 99 other than me. Basic math. And my job, my goal is to look out for 99 of you guys. So now I'm not even in the picture. I don't benefit at all. I'm not looking out for me at all. Nothing. I'm not trying to feed myself. I'm not clothing myself. I'm not using my own tools. My time is not my own. It's y'all's. So if one of you 99 or all of you have a need, my job is to fill it. I've got 24 hours in a day. I've got the body God's given me. I've got the tools he's given me, the money I have, whatever it is, the ability to speak, to work, whatever. And my job is to look out for 99 of you. We have Eric again. Guess what's next? The same thing. Eric's job is to not worry about him. He gets nothing. No focus on him. Die to himself. His job is to look out for the 99 around him. Whatever need there is, based on what he's been given, his job is to fill it. You continue on around the circle. Now let's go back and look at Team David. How many people are on that team? 99. 99 people are now looking out for me. Who wins? Team David with a solo team or Team David with 99? Welcome to church. Welcome to the 99. So at this point right here, Team David, just me, I've got a handful of tools, like 15 of them. I bet you I could choose any 5 of you men out there and combine, I bet you guys got more tools than I do. So if I'm on this team, I got way more tools than I do over here. Over here, I've got, what's 99 times 24? I don't know what that number is, but it's a lot. That's how many hours are available for me to get stuff done, for things to be done in my life, because I've got 99 people looking out for me. And I achieved that by losing sight of myself. That's what these people did. They showed up, they heard this truth, and they loved it. They're like, heck yeah, I'm down with that. I want to get in there, and whatever I've got, you can have it, you can borrow it, you can keep it, you can sell it. Imagine this. Imagine if you, again, we're in our circle of 99. There's more than 99 of us, by the way, so it just multiplies from there. Imagine that you get home from work, your car breaks down. You got to get to work the next day. You don't want to lose your job. You also need to make money. You make a phone call that you're missing a car. And within minutes, you get a phone call saying, hey, man, I got a car for you. You can borrow it. You can have it. I don't really care. You can have it. Got a car for you. What? I'll bet between the 300 of us in this room, there's a car that's sitting somewhere in someone's driveway not being driven. I'll also bet there's somebody that was late to work and lost their job because they didn't have a car to drive. We can fix that, and the church began by fixing that. They were doing exactly that. There's a need. It's your job to fill it. It's my job to fill it, and that's what happened. That's why 3,000 were added in a day. Nobody comes into that circle. So here we go. I saw some of you guys might not be ready to jump in full-fledged, believe the Bible. What you get to do is come into this circle, get blessed by the 99, and watch your heart change because God's going to do that. Because that's what happens. So you come in, take all you want. Just come and absorb the blessings, and I promise you, if we as a church are behaving like this and we're fulfilling needs in that kind of way for a non-believer, they're going to want to join our circle. They're going to want to get involved in that because you cannot experience God in that real of a way through his people and not want to be involved in that. Again, your selfish nature works against you in that one. I want so much of this, I got to jump in. I got to be a part of this mix. And that's what's happening. They're doing that. This isn't like an analogy or a story. This is what happened. They heard this truth and they said, everything I've got, I'm putting into this. My property, my resources, everything. Another verse. 1 Peter 4, 10 and 11 says this. God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Your excuse just went out the window. We've all been given a gift from his variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve yourself all the time. Nope. Use them well to serve one another and then serve yourself. Still nope. Use them well to serve one another. I was given a gift. Who's it for? That's terrible. I was given a gift. Who's it for? One another. 99. That's a solid answer. Whoever said that one. It's used for 99. Do you have the gift of speaking? Then speak as though God himself were speaking through you. Do you have the gift of helping others? Do it with all the strength and energy that God supplies. Then everything you do will bring glory to God through Jesus Christ. All glory and power to him forever and ever and amen. Let me pause real quick. It says if you have the gift of helping, that doesn't mean that some of you don't have that gift. It means that some of us are extra good at it. There's an extra passion for that. That doesn't mean that, oh, I don't have that gift, I don't have to help. It means that some are they just love to do that. So you guys just heard a little bit of Russell's story going to Africa. Russell's he's definitely the most servant-hearted person I've ever met. So let you know, he might be uncomfortable right now, he'll be all right. That's real. So if you have a minute, find Russell and ask him if he has ever used his time to serve somebody else. He'll have more stories than you have time to listen to. I promise you that. And then ask him or his wife, ask both of them, if God has ever blessed them through the actions of people in the church. They got just as many stories, more than you can hear. If you are serving the 99, if you are spending your time blessing, I don't have to worry about myself because there's 99 taking care of me. But guess what happens if I'm the only one of the 99 that does that? I get burnt out and I leave the church because I don't want to be a part of it. Because I see this and I'm new to this. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Look what these people did. I want to come in and serve and I'm giving everything I got. But the church is flawed. I get burnt out. On a smaller scale, that's happened to our volunteers so many times. Because there's a need in Kid Point. And yeah, I can do that. I'll come in and I'm excited. I'll do it every week. You do that every week for like 7 weeks and you're tired of doing it. Nobody else stepping up to do it. So you're like, I don't want to quit, but I have to. So then somebody else quits and someone else has to step in. If 5 of us do that together, you serve once every 5 weeks. That's a really, really basic logic. If we all do this together, that's when families are blessed. That's when the church succeeds. So here we go. Some questions for you. First question. Does this sound like you? The first one's on you. I'm not involved. I'm just pitching the question. I'm asking myself the same one. So this question, again, God's the ultimate judge. He's the one who really knows the answer. I can look and say it might not look like you. I can look and say it does look like you. I don't know your motive. So right now, everybody else is out of the picture. Everybody in the room is gone but you. It's you and God. Does this sound like me? Pick a day. Pick yesterday. Most people's day off, Saturday. And this is just one day. So I'm not. You can't judge your whole life off of one day. But you know you pretty well. Look at your life. Pick a couple days. How much of my time on Saturday was spent on me? How much of it was spent on serving people around me? Again, the broader the set of data, the more accurate the responses or the answer, whatever is a better way to say that. You get what I'm saying? Let's look at just the last couple weekends. Last couple times, maybe you're not off on weekends. The last time you had spare time, how much of it was spent on you? How much of it was spent on others? Look at your income. You get a paycheck. How much of your income was on you? How much of it was on others? Looks to me like it's all supposed to be on someone else. Maybe I'm not at that point. So don't let this be a discouraging message where you're like, wow, I kept some of my money. I'm terrible. I'm going to hell. That's not what I'm saying. Pause. Slow down. Can you do better? That answer is yes. Like I said, Russell's a fantastic servant. Ask him if he could serve better. He'll tell you that answer too, because the answer is yes. Absolutely. Based on what I have, based on what I see as well, how am I doing? It's your report card. Be honest with yourself and with God and realize that with this challenge comes grace. I'm not saying this for you to leave here discouraged to think that you're just doing church poorly or we're a garbage church. Not saying that. Can we improve? If we can, let's do it. Which is the next question. Does this sound like us? So again, let's see the description of the church. They showed up as a body, all giving so much, and supplying the needs of everybody, of all the needs. So think right now. Our church, BridgePoint Church. Could we do a better job at this? This is where the school supplies come in. So again, the idea with this series is to teach on something and then to actively apply it, to actively do it. Just in the high school and middle schools alone, there's a little over 4,000 students. There's a bunch of elementary schools. I don't know how many there are in that. But even more than that. So we'll say 5,000 students. Probably some multiple families in there for most of those. I think we could safely say there are 3,000 families, a lot of you guys are included, that have to buy school supplies. So is it clear to say that's a need? How many of you guys, for real, you can raise your hands if you want to, but think just for a minute. How many of you guys have $15 that if you lost it, either one, you wouldn't notice you lost it, or two, you wouldn't remember that you lost it 5 days from now? I'd bet a lot of you. $15 buys half the supplies they need for the school year. $30, $35 covers all their supplies. These people were selling their properties. Imagine selling your house to buy school supplies. When I read this passage, I get excited. At the same time, I get discouraged. Because, I'm just be real with you guys, I just feel like this isn't possible for us to do. I just think it's not going to happen. It's discouraging. I don't like thinking. I don't like my mindset is there. And I'm in this boat with you guys. I'm not calling you out anymore. I'm calling myself out. What would it really look like? And the reason the question is, does this sound like us? Because we got to do this together. Again, if one of you guys sells everything to give away and nobody else has got your back, you're up a creek without a paddle. You're in trouble. It doesn't work well for you. So again, same thing, just like serving in positions that it's like, I don't want to serve every week. If you're not serving on a team, get on one. What are you waiting for? If you can come up with a legitimate reason that you're not, please come tell me. Because I'm going to tell you where it doesn't work out. Maybe not the specific team you want to be on. We cannot afford to be a part of this circle of blessing where God is pouring out blessings on us and in return with nothing. Why would you want to do that? You can. You absolutely can. You can come and live off of the church. And if the church is doing the right thing, we're going to let that happen. But then God's going to come in there and change your heart. You've got to see you can be a part of this. There's a job every single one of you can fulfill. We had a first look this morning. It's a class you go through just to basically learn how to serve, learn where you can serve. We do it every single month. If you've not been through that class, you need to. I'm not even going to say you should or I'd like you to. You need to. If you answered yes to I believe the Bible. If you said yes, I believe this is it. It doesn't say that some believers met together in a place and some of them shared some things. All the believers met together. All of them shared everything. All their needs were met. That doesn't leave anybody out. But you also don't see that, and then they cried and hated their lives. It was awesome. They experienced blessing. So you can be a part of the church and be around the church and be blessed because God is awesome like that. But a way I can guarantee that you'll be blessed is to be a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else. And for real, imagine that again. So you got a job tomorrow, your car breaks down, you can't get there, you make a phone call, I need a car. Someone calls you 30 minutes later, hey man, I have a car you can have. After you've been given that car, somebody then came to you and said, hey, you want to donate to some school supplies? Heck yes, I do. Absolutely. I was just given a car. You experience this blessing and you want to respond in return. You want to do something different because you experienced the grace of God, the blessing of God. And that's what we're called to do as a church. So does this sound like you? Individual level. Think about your time. Think about your money. Really think about that. Like, if you're uncomfortable, you should be, most likely. I'm uncomfortable thinking about this. What did my day look like yesterday? I was off yesterday. What did I do? I rearranged my house, hung out with some friends. I cleaned up in my house. I don't know that I served anybody. I served my wife, helped her out around the house. We together kind of served each other. We didn't reach out to anybody yesterday. I had 15 hours in a day. I could have done something differently with that. The next question. This gets kind of exciting, the pickup here. What if it did? What if this did sound like us? Can you imagine if BridgePoint was known as a place? Imagine this right here. Hey, do you have a need? Call BridgePoint. They'll fill it. That's crazy. That's huge. That's what they did. That's what they were known for. They had times they were tasked just to take care of the widows and the orphans. They said the widows and the orphans of their church. All of them. They saw a need. The love of God was in them, so they filled it. It's on you now. It's on me. It's on us. I don't want to, please prove me wrong and that we're going to be different. Again, I'm not looking for you to put your house on the market tomorrow. I'm not trying to say you need to sell all your possessions, everything you own. But here's the final question. Are you willing to change? This is something that I can't hit it harder with the students. When I was in the youth group, it was uncomfortable how often I was challenged with something that I in my mind knew I couldn't do. That I would say like, oh, I'm not spending time in the Word. And it would be like, well, do this devotion, wake up every single morning an hour early and read the Bible for an hour. I'm 12. First of all, I could barely read. But it's like this challenge of like, it's what I have to do. If I want to love Jesus, what it needs to look like. Okay, well, right now, I'm not reading the Bible at all. If I get up and I read the verse of the day on YouVersion, I've grown. I've changed. After a week, read 2 verses, read the chapter. You can click on there, read full chapter, read the full chapter. Then from there, I'm journaling and I'm writing what I'm learning. And I'm reading other books and resources that expand on the Bible. And I'm all kinds of things, and I'm growing. Welcome to sanctification. Of starting off one place with Jesus and constantly growing and changing. This is simple, but at the same time can be difficult. Lose sight of you and look at everyone else. Can you do that better? Can we as a church do that better? Right now, can you think of a need somewhere around you? Think of a need. Let me give you a couple ones. Right now in Kid Point, today, this Sunday, we had one class that didn't have any teachers in it. So what we did was split another class of teachers that now have half the capacity teachers they should have, so another class could operate. Are you capable of speaking? Can you read a script? Can you press buttons on a computer? Can you have a discussion about what you claim to believe with some children? Then you can work in Kid Point. Everybody wave at me. You guys all just proved you can direct traffic. Hear that? Where's Ivan? Parking team, they're ready. That's training, y'all are done. Parking team right here. What's your excuse for not doing it? You don't have one. There's not one. You've been given abilities. The final question, that's it. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to do something differently? Are you willing to serve more, to give more, to be more generous? That's what we're called to do. Let me flip that question around, be a little more convicting here. If you're not willing to do it, you need to check on your relationship with Jesus. If you are not willing to give your time or your money or your abilities or your belongings to serve someone around you, check yourself. You need to ask that tough question. Sit down and spend some time with God and think, maybe this isn't me because I know that I can do that, but I have no desire to do that. If that's you, that's okay. If we recognize it and change it. It's a fantastic thing to recognize that. But be real with who you are. Be real between you and Jesus and look, here's a standard. They're selling houses. I'm just asking you to share your time. I'm asking you to come to church an hour early. Stay an hour late. Give some money. I don't know what change looks like for you. If you could be more like Jesus, you're winning. Do it every day. Here's a standard. How can you change? In just a minute, we've got some counselors, some care counselors, some people are going to come up to the front and give you guys a chance to pray. If you have questions, they can answer those. If they can't, they'll get you to the right place. They're using the gifts they were given to serve the body. They're using the gifts that they have. These guys playing instruments right here. I do not have the gift to play guitar. If you do, look, they're using it. There's another plug right there. You play an instrument, we don't know about it, you better let us know. You better come find this guy. He's going to come find you. Take this time and don't let me convict you. I'm with you. I'm only on a stage so you guys can see me. I'm not on a stage because I'm better than you at all. Take these words here, these challenges, and let it convict you. How can you change? How can you serve more tomorrow? How can you give more tomorrow? Spend some time praying about exactly that. What if our church looked different? What if our church looked like this church did? What kind of impact would we have on the community around us? How many thousands would be added to our group? And by the way, when those thousands get added, they're not added as a parasite we have to take care of. That's 3,000 more that are serving. 3,000 more abilities, more sets of gifts, more sets of belongings that get to serve. It's exciting to me. If you're new to the church, come join us. Come be a part of this. If you've been here for a while, come do your job. Let's do our job. Exactly what we're called to do. Again, if you've got questions you want to pray, you want to spend some time praying right here, that's fine too. But don't leave here without wrestling with God for a minute, without taking this truth, just the word, and apply it to your life. Put that filter over there and see what you see. And I pray for change. Let's pray. God, I thank you for your word. God, it's challenging and it's convicting and it's incredible. God, you set a standard for how we should behave, to give, to be generous with everything we have. God, we don't own anything anyways. All we've been given is a blessing. We deserve nothing from you, but to be separated from you in hell, that's really what we earned. God, but your grace is amazing and sufficient, and you give us so much more than that. God, and the best use of those things you give us is to continue to serve you, to give them right back. God, right now in this room, I pray that you're convicting people. God, convicting sounds like such a scary or a dangerous word. God, it should be exciting. Conviction is a gift that you give us. God, of how we're spending our time, how we're spending our resources and our money. God, change us right now. Soften hearts, God. If there's people that need to pray and ask for forgiveness for being selfish, God, help us to do that. Give us the boldness to make that decision. God, and as a church, let's be a light and an example and a change in this community. God, as we live out the way your word calls us to. And we get generous and we get real and we get to serving and we become a blessing. We become a blessing to other families. God, let this be our heart today. We pray this in your name. Amen.